update the software, we don't charge you for updates. We'll just roll them out as they come along. You'll get monthly newsletters with announcements of updates and what the feature changes would be. Different services, again, we have live webinars covering all different aspects, whether it's technical training, basic usage, or even sales strategy support. The hardware for our service, it's all SOS owned. We have it in third-party data centers, but we own the hardware, and we own the NOC services. So if there's ever anything that has to be done on our end, we don't have to go to a third party to get that done. It's all in-house. So, and there's absolutely no difference between the service that our SOS customers versus our partners and users receive. So it's the same hardware, same security, same support. Really what we've seen in the last 10 years, the big decline in expensive hardware-based solutions. So everything's moving to the cloud. So there's still a large market opportunity for businesses to move to the cloud. Tape services are typically held onto because of how expensive and time-consuming it was to get those services in place, which is also helpful because just doing a simple test recovery when you go into a new client that only has some type of tape system, you can nearly guarantee that you're going to find some point of failure, whether it wasn't being managed correctly, the backups weren't running properly, or you're getting a green light but the data was corrupted. A lot of issues with these hardware-based systems. They're expensive, they're bulky, and they are quite time-consuming. So that's why everyone's moving over to the cloud, is because you're finding that, hey, the maintenance and the management of these hardware systems is really adding up. And while some people want to keep their recurring costs down, they find that over time it is dramatically more expensive to pay for the maintenance and management of some hardware systems over the course of 5 years rather than going through an online backup. Here's some more stats to show that the market's growing. More than 70% of CTOs say that they would shift a large load of their backup to the cloud. So definitely. And one of the big things is the move to the cloud, especially for backup. It's happening. So it's not a matter of if, but when people are going to be getting into this. So one of our partners, it's one of the big things they said is, if we don't get into this, somebody else is. So we need to, protect our customers from going to somebody else. And here's some numbers, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but just shows that overall, these tape solutions are quite expensive. A good question. How secure and what is the downtime on the servers? Good question. So all the data centers we have are Tier 3 and 4 rated, so that's 99.9% uptime guarantee. There is, and the 0.1% is scheduled maintenance. And as far as security, we do a 256-bit AES encryption on the data before we transfer it. We transfer over 128-bit SSL, and then we store the data at an additional 1024-bit AES once it's at the first data center, and then we replicate the data to a completely geographically separate data center, also Tier 3 and 4 or 4 rated. All the data centers that we have, there is no direct access for anyone to get into our server area. There's actually only 2 people in our company of 180 that have permission to walk into the data center. It's all biometric logins, armed guards, security measures, 10 different lines of connection in case 5 ISPs go down. There's still 5 left to choose from. Diesel generators, the whole kit. So it's quite a secure setup. Oh wow, we got a guy coming in saying that he signed up as a VAR back in 2001 when we had standalone backup software. Interesting stuff. Okay, so let's just get back into this. Um, Again, hardware backup. It's not that it's disappearing completely. It's that you can again shift a lot of the load of your backup solution to online backup. So, given the unlimited version history and the flexibility and the ease of use of the software, we can do a lot more online and then have a much simpler solution for local hardware. And that will give us a nice full solution. So you have a combination of strategies there. As far as another good question, how many data centers do we have? We have 10 data centers that we use for backup globally. 5 are here in the States, 1's in Canada, 1's in the UK, 1's in Kiev, 1's in Chennai, and 1's in Australia. So this is some more information about the growth of the backup industry. And again, the consumer market is pretty much commoditized. You know, it's nice to see that the commoditization of the consumer market hasn't cannibalized the growth in the business market. So what we're still seeing is very much an introduction of managed backup solutions to businesses. So no longer are you going to be dramatically successful just selling a piece of software and here's you get 200 gigs of backup space. Here you go. Have fun with it. Now what we're seeing is a backup solution package. So maybe you have a standard package, gold package, premium package, and it includes different SLAs, different services that you'll provide as far as test recovery, different reports that you can provide on some type of regular basis. And that falls in line consistently with the managed service market. So managed services is all about being able to do more for less. And with all the remote services and remote access that's been available through better software, better infrastructure, reporting and being able to do regular updates as far as what's happening is really nice. So with our software, because there's no seat licensing, it's very simple to just recover all the data to a drive from your location, and then you send the drive to the customer and say, hey, okay, I just recovered from your backup set. I now have a hard drive that is here at my location that we can load up right away. So not only did you test the viability of the backup, which is important to do, but now you have another point of recovery with the drive that you recovered it to, whether you send that to the customer or if you keep it here. So it's a nice system that allows for you to use it as you see fit and to be creative with the services that you provide in managed backup solutions. Again, some of the growth drivers, not to get too much into it, but really managed services is about creating standard packages of services, because having managed services package means that you have to really standardize what you're providing. And when you standardize, you look at the lowest common denominators. What are things that everyone needs? What are things that no matter what environment I'm talking about, it's going to be a necessity? Online backup is one of those services, so we're really hinging on the coattails of a much larger market movement, which is towards managed service providing. So that's really where we see the continued growth, is that people are becoming more familiar with recurring options that promote uptime and productivity versus the old break-fix relationship of a very negative relationship between IT providers and the businesses. Rather than being seen as an asset, you're seen as a cost center, where they only call you if something's broken. So they lose money in downtime and also lose money in paying you to fix whatever has been broken. And there's no real incentive for you to fix things properly. It's more of how can I most quickly get this done. This way, with managed services, it really matures the market where the provider of the services and the recipient have the same goal. Just keep it up and running and allow me to be more productive. And then you become an asset to the company. And that's really where the market has gone and why we've seen still such continued growth in this. Any questions what we've gone through? I'm going to go through our service a little more specifically now. All right. All right, great. We'll open up for Q&A as well. Okay, so this is the kind of the pillars of SOS Online Backup: protect, access, share, and manage. Put an acronym together, whatever you want to do. Do it backwards, and you got maps or anything you like, whatever helps you remember. But we're protecting information. We're allowing the people who are responsible for that information to have access to it. We allow for a slight productive use of the backup system in a share functionality. And then we also add a management layer with our new Pulse management system. So Pulse is a agent-based system, so no longer is central monitoring and management strictly dependent upon being on the same network. So you install this agent on each node that you have a backup running, and then this allows you to view backup events, verify that they're running, view the session details so you can see total files backed up, total files not backed up. You can pull up the backup log. So it allows you to truly manage those outskirts of your network, the traveling business users, the sales team, the laptop fleets, and that's where we're headed as a company. Is we're working on getting to a position where our strength is not just in the small medium business, between 10 and 100 seats, but now it's our strength becomes between 50 and 300 seats.